Welcome to another Western Ag Life Voices podcast, where we celebrate the people that make up the rich fabric of the Western lifestyle. Please do us a favor and thank the sponsors, because without them, we couldn't bring you these free podcasts.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul Ramirez with the Western Ag Life podcast. We got a great guest on today with us. We're going to have Mr. Trey Narramore, and Trey is got a unique situation that they started a few years ago. They're selling a horse, mule, and hound sale, basically basically courting the lion hunters and the hunters and bear hunters and so forth. And so I brought him on this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about his upcoming sale in July. And Trey, how in the world are you this morning?
Good, Paul. How's everybody going there?
Yeah, it's good. I tell you what, it's threatening to rain. So
Yeah.
I promise you, if it rains here in Arizona, there's going to be a lot of giddy people. This country is super, super tough, and we're definitely in need of a rain. So what about you guys? Where do you call home at every day?
I live in Portales,
In
New Mexico.
Portales.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Portales, New Mexico. But originally from the western side, over there around Grants, Gallup, New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
cool. And so let's talk. I just want to let's go ahead and just start at the very beginning. What
Okay.
started? What precipitated you guys starting this auction?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but after I got out of school and college there in Portales, we started hunting lions, and there wasn't a whole lot going on besides the sales. And I auctioneer 2, 3, 4 days a week, and wasn't a whole lot going on. And so we decided that we were going to go ahead and buy us some lion dogs to hunt there on the weekends. And anyway, my brother and I kind of got into it, but we got a hold of Wade Hatch, and unfortunately, that couple months before that, his granddad Ray Hatch, who owns a livestock sale there in Farmington or Kirtland, New Mexico, the cow house sale, he had passed away, and Wade was going to college, and he gave us a couple dogs and a couple lion dogs, and it got our deal started, and we just kind of went on from there, and me and Wade had talked every weekend, and just got to be real good friends. And after that, there was an old order buyer here at Clovis, and his name was Travis Knuckles, and he gave me a book. I told him that we had bought some dogs, and we were getting into the lion hunting, and he used to go hunt lions and bears there, and actually go down there in Magdalena and around that area with Billy Keeney. And anyway, Travis gave me this book, and that Billy Keeney put all these old pictures together from way back in the day, and he called it Horses, Hounds, and Horsemen. And anyway, I got that book, and I was looking through it, and there was tons like Terrell Shelley and just tons of old hunters and old pit. There's the Goods, I think, are in it, like that Billy Good, Charles Good, all them old time and rodeo guys that would go hunt with Billy throughout the years. And I called Wade, and I said, "Hey, I think I got a really good idea." And I said, "I think we need to have us a little sale." And really, at the first year, and when we were kicking it around, it was just kind of a funny idea, but we called it Horses, Hounds, and Mules. And we wanted to have a horse sale and a mule sale, but we wanted to be the first guys to sell big game hounds at auction in the West. So anyway, we kind of threw it together, and it gained traction and took off. So it's kind of neat.
Hey, man. No, how cool is that? I mean, that's one of the things that, I really admire about young people like you and Wade. You guys think outside of the box, and but yet you guys also want to pay homage to some of the historical components, about being a cowboy, rancher, and a hunter. And so I could see where that was an excellent blend for this particular deal. So when you guys put this concept together, then so Wade, I guess, was on board right from the get-go. So tell us, where was your first sale, and how'd your first sale go?
So our first sale, we had it there at their sale barn in Kirtland at the cow house auction, and Wade's dad, Shane, really helped us a bunch. He sat up there and read pedigrees and kind of walked us through, just making sure that all of our stuff is professionally done because me and Wade might have a tendency to just kind of
Over
go with the flow.
little oversight.
Yeah, no, he helped us a lot. So he kind of kicked us some ideas, and so we went through it, and we pretty much had it all put together before. And but Shane, he read pedigrees that first year, and I had a good friend of mine, Lyle Logeman, that came and he did the intro. And Lyle was actually he's very very good public speaker and sat up there and he did a prayer and did all the stuff. And anyway, we had it there at Kirtland. I think we had 30 or 35 mules the first year, and 5 or 6 finished bear and lion dogs, and it was good, and some pretty good horses. So we got along really good the first year. It was really really good, and it's gained ground, and it's kind of it's a very niche deal, and not there's the only one like it in the country. So
Hmm.
it's good.
And so, basically, this is the only sale, like this, in the United States. So I'm sure you're attracting some people from outside of New Mexico and Colorado then.
Oh yeah, no, we have consigners come from Missouri, guys that bring their meals from I think we all the way from Kentucky, and not only that, we have a large buyer base. We have an online platform that CCI Live, and they obviously have a large buyer platform. And I think last year we sent a mule all the way to Maine to a lady that she was going to fox hunt on a mule there in Maine. So that was actually our high seller last year. He bring 23,000 little
Oh, really?
mule. Anyway, she bought him online and shipped her out there, and she loves him. So it's a good
Huh.
deal.
Well, isn't that incredible? The technology that, we have today that, we can captivate on the live audience, but more importantly, you're able to, ascertain bidders from all over basically the world, that,
Absolutely.
that normally, somebody wouldn't probably get in a car and,
Yeah.
drive to northern New Mexico or southern Colorado, but yet
Yes.
they'll participate online. So yeah,
Yeah.
hats off to you guys for
Yeah.
staying modern.
Speaking of the world, this is kind of interesting, and people. I mean, it'd be kind of. There was a gentleman there that lives in Zimbabwe, and he hunts leopards there in Africa. And last year, he was bidding on CCI Live on some dogs, and me and Wade were going to facilitate the deal, and he was going to buy a female to get bred here in the States and then ship it to Africa so he can have a litter of pups on the ground. And we'll do some business with that guy. He's very adamant on getting some. We got the best dogs in the world here in the southwestern United States, and really just I shouldn't even limit it to Southwest because the big game hunters in Idaho and Nevada and Montana and Wyoming. I mean, there's lots of guys that do a lot of predator control in the western half. So pretty important little deal.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about what your day is going to be like and what the days are going to be like there in the event. We're going to start off on what day are you starting off there? On Friday?
Yeah, starting at
Talk a
Friday
little bit
there.
about each of these.
Yeah, starting at Friday at 9 a.m. We're gonna meet there at the Tucson Ranch in Hesperus, just 25 minutes southwest of Durango. There, real nice facility. There's RV hookups. There's you can dry camp. There's pretty good little facility there. So 9 a.m. we're gonna have the trail ride, and we're gonna just trailer right up the road there, and we're gonna call it the ride through the Rockies there at on Friday. And then 2 o'clock we're gonna circle back around to the Tucson Ranch and have a little roping preview and demo. And then at 5:30 we're gonna have mule match races and do a little Calcutta, and we're gonna have a dinner, and that's Houndsman XP podcast. He's Chris Powell does a lot of good for us and has been helping us put a lot of this entertainment together. And we've got a nutrition company, Elite Nutrition, that's going to sponsor the dinner and stuff. So you can buy tickets when you get there, and you can register to bid and get all your stuff prepared there for Saturday and have a good time. Have a band playing, and Michael Leonard from right around there in Farmington, he's going to come play music, and it'll be fun.
I'm sure there'll be a few refreshments too.
Yes, sir. There'll be a couple of refreshments. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Then if everybody gets up in time, we'll do business on Saturday, huh?
Yeah. We're gonna have the sale at 11 o'clock there Saturday morning. You can get there anytime early there and go through the stalls, and it's gonna be an indoor building. We're indoor arena, so we're in the Rockies, but it's known to get hot there in the summertime. So we're indoor building, air conditioning, all the stuff, and refreshments. We'll have to put that in there too.
Sure. And I see that you're going to have a preview from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Yeah, and we call that just we put a preview down there, but just a walkthrough. Make sure if you want to kick one around or ride and talk with the guys that have lion or bear dogs there that morning, you can do that. And plenty of, I think it's a 100-acre property and outdoor arena and stuff. So if you want to get on one and ride one around before the sale, you're more than welcome to.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm pretty sure, most of our listeners are pretty, astute to what, happens, when you're either looking at a horse or trying a horse or
Yes,
even a mule. But I guess I'm a little curious because I don't know. And so I'm going to ask from my ignorance, what would, somebody, how would somebody start to find out or be sold on the fact that a dog is legitimate?
well, that's the hard part about what we're doing because, horse or a mule, you can get on and you can watch them ride around and do all the stuff. But, um, you know, uh, it's a sale, but me and Wade try to sift pretty hard about what dogs we let in. And there was a guy there in Arizona, and uh, he's very, very well known lion hunter. And he had a good, and I'll quote him. He said some of the best dogs in the world are some of the dogs that we don't even know about. There's some cowboy on some ranch, and nobody knows who he is, and they're the best ones probably. Part of them are, and so we try to do a good job of talking with the guys and making sure that what they have is legit. But when we sell the dog, there's a 30-day trial period that we put on all these dogs. And there's a lady in Amarillo that comes to the sale. She's originally from Durango. She's got an insurance company, and we try to advise people to put insurance on them animals during the trial period. That way, if they buy a dog for 20,000 and
Yeah.
you get him loose
It
on a
runs
line.
off.
Yes, sir. He runs off. You, we can hold everybody's money together. So that's what we do.
And so you're saying that people can also get the dogs insured?
Yes, sir. That was a big selling point of
Wow.
our sale because
I don't think I'd ever heard that before.
yeah, not everybody can go and a lot of these guys that are coming and buying these dogs are maybe outfitters that are just getting started or outfitters that need an extra one. And like I said, we're selling some of the best big game dogs in the world. So you want to be able to insure your asset. And I talked to that girl and explained to her what we had going on, and that gives the guy that's spending 20,000 on a lion or bear dog that he can feel safe at night, and maybe when he goes home he can say, "Honey, I bought this dog, but it's all right. He's insured." So we're in good shape.
Can you imagine? He's going to stay in the house.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah,
going to live with us from now
yeah,
on. He costs 20,000. My
yeah.
goodness. Yeah.
You might leave the dog in the house and kick him outside or something, but
Costs more than our pickup truck, but
yeah, that's right.
we bought
Yes.
him.
Mhm.
But I'm sure, especially as much with the horses, the mules, and then the dogs must play into that too. Also, that reputation certainly, I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, absolutely.
won't
Yes,
take
sir.
long either way to get a good reputation on a deal like that.
That's right. Yeah. We've been very fortunate. We had some of the best guys, in your state right there, Sam and Scott Derringer. They've been consigner for I think 2 or 3 years now. Um, and that's another thing about these dogs that we're selling. We're people that wouldn't know we're selling dry ground lion and bear dogs. What that means is, dry ground is these dogs typically don't hunt in snow. If you're going to go catch a lion or a bear, and if there's snow on the ground, it's considerably easier to catch a lion or a bear in the snow. Not all the time, but 80% of the time, it's much easier. So it's a really niche thing, and without snow, it's very difficult. And these families have bred these dogs for 100 years to get them to where they're at today, or longer. I mean, it's look at Warner Glenn. I mean, they've been doing it for
Oh,
long time.
yeah,
So,
for sure, generations.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Sure, generations. Yeah, yeah, that kind of intrigues me that, so yeah, I learned something new today. So you
Yes, sir.
can insure those dogs. The dogs, they have the opportunity to be insured.
Yes, sir. They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year we had a high seller from a family down in Texas, the Beans, Breck Bean and Jim Breck Bean. They sold the dog for 17.8, and the gentleman that bought him, it lives about an hour north of me up here. He's retired. He doesn't have an outfit business or nothing, but he loves to hunt lions, and he bought that dog and took it home, and the same day he got it insured, and he's been hunting him since. So it's been good. Yes, sir.
Really.
Yeah.
And I guess one thing we should talk on a little bit, because not every in a perfect world, everything would be great. But I
Yes, sir.
mean, think about it. We're humans and they're animals, and
Yep.
and I'm going to use the dog. We'll just talk about the dog, for example. That dog's been with one trainer, probably been on one place or a few places, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
a completely different owner in a completely different place takes
Yep.
possession of that animal.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong there.
No, yeah. No, that's absolutely correct. It it's a tough situation, and that's why we allow for the 30-day period. Not saying everything's going to be just a-okay in the 30 days, but most of the guys that are maybe buying these dogs and going out and hunting them have a pretty good idea of what they got.
Mhm.
It's kind of one of those things where if 7 or 8 years ago you'd have told me you need to buy this dog for 20,000 because it'll help you in the end, I would have told you you're crazy and that there was no way I was going to buy a dog for $20,000. But 7 or 8 years later, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, that's a pretty cheap investment.
Sure.
You just look at the days that they hunt them things, and if it's 5 years old and they hunt them 200 days out of the year, they
Huh.
they make better wages at McDonald's. So
Yeah, I need to get, Scott, or I'd like to have Warner on someday and just talk about, lion dogs and, how they're
yes,
made and so forth. Because,
yeah,
I mean, those are not accidents. Those good dogs,
no,
they were purposely bred, but more importantly, they were handled in a way that, made them be what they are.
absolutely, yes, sir, yeah, they're very good stewards of handling them dogs, and they do a good job.
Perfect. And then, so the mules, so are your mules, almost all the mules will be riding mules?
Yeah, nearly all of them. I think we got a handful of some that pack, and I think we got 2 teams this year.
Oh, okay.
Um, and those are good for around Colorado. There's a lot of those downtown deals that have uh, carried, buggies and take them for rides, the tourist deals. So there's a couple teams there, and but mostly riding mules. Yes, sir. Um, it'll be
And then will
and
they be any mules they'll rope on any of those mules?
yeah, yeah, we'll have some horses or some cattle there to try them out in the arena and stuff, and there'll be several of them you could darn sure rope on. Yes, sir.
And then talk a little bit about the horses.
We've got a handful of horses, mostly just ranch horses and stuff, and maybe from some outfitters that have used them for both the ranching and the outfitting, and you could rope on a few of those too. Um, we we've made a pretty good effort just make sure we have good, gentle ranch horses or trail horses, and maybe you can go rope on. But our customer base is mostly hunters and guys that want to go hunt and maybe ranch on them a little bit. So we definitely like the horses, but definitely just kind of different crowd.
And I'm sure some of those horses, the guys, want a pack horse too. Those
Oh
guys.
yeah, that's right. Yes, sir. Yeah, last year we had 5 or 6 horses that individual that they'd use them in the arena in the afternoon. Next morning, they'd go check cows or pack salt, and then in the fall, they absolutely got used on the pack string, and so yeah, there's plenty of horses to pick from too.
For sure. And then I guess there'll be some. What do you have, a little trade show, or will there be booth
Yeah,
there? Or?
so we'll have some tack and stuff there. We'll have turquoise jewelry there. We'll have
Imagine that.
lots of imagine that one. Yeah, we'll have some turquoise
Whose
jewelry
turquoise
there.
jewelry is going to be there?
It's mine. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So go
it's
ahead.
mine and my
Talk about
wife.
your company.
Yeah, my wife and I, when I got out of college, I started buying turquoise jewelry, and for the last several years, we go to trade shows all over the U.S. We go to Vegas and set up a big booth. So if you're at the Cowboy Christmas, look for Turquoise Vaquero Trading Company, and we'll have a booth set up there and get you hooked up with some authentic, made in the USA Native American jewelry.
And they can also find you online, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, turquoisevaquero.com. Yeah.
turquoisevaquero.com. Perfect.
Yeah.
You have a weekly auction or anything?
No, probably ought to start. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see my daughter and wife, they listen to they don't really call it auction, but what happens is, I was watching them the other day, they're bidding on some purses, which
Right.
they don't need. They got so
Yeah.
many darn purses. But anyways, they're in there and I see this lady and she's reading along Facebook, right? So what's going on is
Yeah.
they're Facebook Live, and then people are typing, in the chat there, "Hey, I'll give you 85," and then somebody says, "Well, I'll give 100," and then 115, and then she
Right.
says, "We're gonna we're gonna stop in 3 minutes." So basically, they was just doing an auction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yep.
might want to give that a shot. But that for amongst all the other things you have going on, right?
Yeah. No, we had that little trade show deal set up. So I hollered at Wade and I said, "Hey, you need to set your stuff. I'll set my stuff up and we'll get uh, my wife or somebody in there to set that up." So
Sure.
we'll get it
And,
all rigged up and have some tack there and have lots of different stuff. So
and then of course your insurance company will be there.
yeah, yeah. Ashley Little, she lives there in Canyon, but she'll be set up there at the deal and have her stuff. So um, she's got follow the gavel. So as soon as anything you buy or if you bid and buy something, she'll have it insured as long as you go talk with her before the deal starts. So
Oh,
she'll have
perfect.
you all set up.
Sure. And people maybe should have contact with her maybe before the sale even, right? Make sure they got things going on.
Yeah, no, you can call her.
Ashley
She's
Little.
Ashley Little. Yes, sir. Yeah. And even if you have something there at the house that you'd like to get put together, she does a real good job.
Should be glad to do that.
Real easy to get along with, and she goes to a lot of horse sales and very well written. So she does a good job.
Perfect. Well, so let's talk a few. I know there must be a few highlights on the horses, the mules, and the dogs that that you have coming. Let's go ahead and talk about a few of those. Let's start with the mules. There
Yeah,
must be a few mules that are coming.
yeah. They're just all of them are pretty darn good. I've got. We've worked really hard to make sure that these guys that are bringing these animals to consign, or we've visited with them and talked with them about kind of what we're looking for. And the one good thing about a mule is they're either good or they're not. There's not very much gray area.
They're like a wife.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, that's
or
exactly
a husband.
right. Yeah, or a
Yeah.
husband. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that's been a good thing. So,
Is there one special mule that stands out? That
yeah,
you
there's one guy in Missouri that's got. He's got one that man, that thing looks really cool. If I was retired, Paul, and I had me a little money saved up, I think I'd have to own that one, and I'd probably just ride her every day and hunt lions and maybe punch a
Enjoy
few
life.
cows. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told me and Wade, we talked about it before, and we told each other that if one day we ever get lucky enough to have enough money stashed up, we're gonna sell out and we're gonna go to Arizona and buy the roughest, nastiest permit you could get your hands on.
Oh, I can help you with that.
Okay, yeah, I figured you could.
Yeah, when you're ready to come to Arizona for something
Yeah,
rough, holler at me. I can get you that.
we're gonna buy some little old Corriini cows and we're gonna kick them out and we're gonna hunt lions. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, that little mule's really nice, and um, we've got some pretty good colts coming from a guy in Magdalena that owns a feed store there in Magdalena. It's got some really good, well-bred colts and several good dogs. We got some dogs from Jim Breck Bean and his dad. They live down there in Alpine, Texas, and they ranch, and boy, they hunt a lot of lions. and a guy that's in your area over there in Arizona, Jared Nichols. They actually hunt bears over there on the reservation, and they do lots and lots of hunting there. He's got a very, very good dog consigned. He's 5 years old, and he's intact. Um, he's as good as they get, I think. So
Let me ask you a question. Those dogs, will those dogs go both for bear and lion, or do they just kind of
so the one from
specific?
Breck Dean there in Texas, he might chase a bear, maybe if there's a lot of other dogs chasing the bear, he might go. But primarily, he's been broke off of bears. And the dog that come from Jared Nichols, yes, sir, he will chase a both bear and a lion and do each very handily. Yeah.
Huh,
So
amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
that's amazing for sure.
yeah.
Um, so so pretty much, you guys this will be your fourth annual, right?
Yep, this is our fourth annual. Yes, sir.
Fourth annual.
And the last 3 years we've had it in New Mexico, but
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. This
yes,
year
sir,
you
we've had it in New
decided.
Mexico. Yeah, we decided to move it up north into Hesperus, which is just 30-45 minutes up north of where Farmington was at. So it just moved a little farther north, a little better facility. This used to be an old cutting horse deal, and so it's very well put together. This little ranch is the Tucson Ranch in Hesperus, Colorado.
Perfect. And so people, you have plenty of places for people if they want to dry camp around there and
Oh yeah,
hang out
there's
for a day or
hookups and
two.
all. Yep, hookups and all the stuff there. There's plenty of stalls, turnouts for your horses if you guys are driving through somewhere, just vacationing over going through Colorado there and want to stop in. There's plenty of places where you can stop and hook up and stay the night there at the Tucson Ranch. So it'll be good.
For sure. All right. And so you guys are going to be on
Yep.
live too?
CCI, yeah. Online bidding will be available at cci.live. We've been posting a lot of our mules and horses there on Facebook, and here shortly we'll have the catalog out, and you can go and you can view that catalog. If you log on to cci.live and go down to the horses, hounds, and mules sale, they'll have a link where we can pull up that PDF and look at the catalog. So, yeah.
And then do you guys also have your own website?
No, not currently. We primarily just Facebook.
Okay.
We've seemed to get a lot more done on Facebook.
Oh,
So that's
amen.
cool.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happens on Facebook. So
Oh yeah.
certainly, I'm sure in the next few days, people can find you on Facebook at what's your Facebook?
Yes, sir. It's got Horses, Hounds, and Mules on Facebook. Yes, sir.
Horses,
Horses, Hounds,
Hounds,
and
Mules.
Mules.
And I'm sure you guys will have stuff coming up as in the next few days
Oh yeah,
in the
we've
lead
got
up
lots
to
of
the
stuff.
sale.
Every day we've been posting lots and lots of stuff. Next few days we'll be posting another video, just letting everybody know what kind of stock we have and all the more events and making sure everybody has a ability to contact us and get a hold of us and talk to us about what we got going on. So,
Speaking of that, how can people get a hold of you?
you can call my number at 505-240-5704. And if I don't answer, you can call Wade Hatch at 505-860-2934. If we don't answer there, you want to leave us a message or however, or you can go on Facebook or Instagram and shoot us a message on there, and we'll get a hold of you shortly.
He'll get back. Perfect. Well, listen, I know you got plenty going on, and so I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
Hope you guys have a great sale, and I'm going to try to kick this out sometime the week of your sale so people get a chance to opportunity. I'll put also
Sure.
a few links so they can link into your Facebook page and so forth, so they
Yep,
can
that'll work good.
find them there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, listen, we've had a great conversation today. Trey, thanks for coming on. I wish you all the luck. You guys have a good
Yes, sir.
sale, and maybe you'll come back and visit with me as a wrap up for your sale sometime after the sale's over.
Yep, that'll be good. Thank you, Paul.
Perfect. Ladies
Yes,
and
sir.
gentlemen, there you go. Trey Narramore. And if you got any questions, I'll leave this up here on the link for a little bit so you can get all the information there. He's going to be conducting the 4th annual Horse, Hounds, and Mule Sale and July 18th and 19th. Trey, have a great sale, and we'll talk soon. Ladies and
Okay, see you
gentlemen,
guys.
don't forget, if it's Western, it's probably Western Ag Life.